Chapter 6. Please pick me up cardboard. After that, Iwato, who have yet to decide to enter any club activities, arrived at the supermarket. Assuming that the exchange student will stay in his house starting from Monday, he won't know what kind of person is the exchange student until then. That person might have an ogre-like figure or a lolly figure like Sumugu. Right, yeah. I said it right that time. Though both sounds weird for a student. Therefore, he doesn't take any actions assuming that it's an ogre, and even if he and Sumugu's food for the weekend is only a small quantity, he needs to buy a large amount of food and then return to his home. First of all, he has no problem with the amount he needs to bring home. Iwato has trained his body to some extent, and if he really can't bring it back himself, he can just call a few taxis. As expected of a rich person to have such thought. Second, regarding the money, that is not a problem. To be honest, with the money that's received from Sumugu's work, he can enjoy his whole life. Yeah. And above all, Iwato can make progress on his shampoo business. Because he manufactured it on his own, there's a lot of shampoo left. Then there's no problem in this area. If there's a problem, then it's how to bring the stuffs to the cash register. But this can be solved just by asking the employee there. First, the staple food. The staple food purchased were rice and a large amount of bread. Of course, he chooses the ones with a late expiry date. Although he actually hesitated on buying pasta, if the other party is an ogre who keeps demanding for a second helping, the time to boil the noodles will be fatal. There's no time to waste in boiling when you're on the battleground kitchen. Next is vegetables. As for vegetables, he bought long-lasting vegetables such as cabbage, tomato, carrot, and green pepper, and also he bought the spices for stir-fry vegetable and salad dressing. That person might be a monster that eats vegetables soaked in salad dressing. Next is frozen food. The next is frozen food, which is very important. He cannot think that he can satisfy an ogre only with his dish. The ogre's digestion speed is abnormal. If it turns out bad, the ogre might say, "Hey, I'm hungry." At the moment, he thought that he finally satisfied the ogre and can finally eat. By the way, Iwato says that the ogre is a high-ranked species of unknown. Therefore, he bought a lot of frozen foods and developed a strategy to eat his own meal while waiting in front of the cash register for a few minutes. It's perfect. Next is meats. Meat. This is the ogre's staple food. Iwato himself doesn't even realize the person who is going to stay in his house is not a student anymore, but an ogre. Hence, he doesn't take a notice of on those that won't last long, and he picks those that are frozen with his hunch. In addition to that, a large amount. By the way, in this area, meat is super valuable, high-class ingredient due to low number of wild animals. Next is fish. Fishes. I always forget. I think fishes is technically correct here. So, the plural of fish is fish, but in the context of multiple fish species, it's fishes. So there you go. So if you have 3 goldfish, you have 3 goldfish. But if you have goldfish and other fish, marlin's a fish, then you have fishes. Anyway, this is out of the question because ogre doesn't eat fishes. Then why did you buy vegetables just now? If his friend is here, he will definitely ask Iwato. But unfortunately, Iwato has already lost his sanity. Last is juice and confectionery. This is quite questionable. The ogre is a high-ranked species that can live together with humans. It can be said that it's a humanoid monster. Then it's a piece of cake for such a guy to take in confectionery and juice. Although it's a waste, let's just buy it. Such a foolish thinking. And just like that, Iwato has more than 10 baskets of food by the time he realized it. The plural of food is food, not foods. Unless I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that one. Those baskets were filled with food in a good manner. See, there you go. It's already an acrobatic level, and the employee thought that it's an amazing amount, but don't play with the goods. And as for the other customers, I will take a photograph. This should be enough. Iwato mutters in satisfaction and calls out to the employee nearby. By the way, the total price of the purchase has a lot of zeros at the back. Stupid. No way an ogre will come. In the first place, it won't fit in the fridge. Sumugu said so without expression to Iwato to explain the circumstances, and finally Iwato regained sanity. First of all, there's no way an ogre will come, just a normal student. And second, he bought too much and it won't fit in the refrigerator. And third, he forgot that Sumugu is shy. Iwato became all fours, and for now, he decides to report to Sumugu. Sorry, Sumu. A stranger will be coming to stay with us. I won't speak with that person, so it's okay. Really sorry. As an apology, is there anything you want? One favor. You're sure looking at the long term, 9-years-old child? For the time being, Iwato stands up and looks at the stuffs at the entranceway. He decided to put only the frozen foods and those that have high priority into the refrigerator. Others will be stored in Sumugu's personal refrigerator, but that refrigerator is filled with melon soda, so he decided to buy a new refrigerator later. Pointless spending piles up. Exactly a perfect example of a bad adult. Say, Sumu, make it 2 favors, so give me a hand, please. Iwato said so, even though he knew what she will reply. However, Iwato became bewildered a little by Sumugu's reply. Sure, we are a family. That's why it's natural to help. Because we are a family. That was once the words that Iwato said to Sumugu. Right? Yeah, Sumugu. I'm second doubting myself every time I read her name. Sumugu, when she first came to the Nagumo family, and this was also the cause that made her into a stepsister. Iwato loosens his face a little by those words. You certainly have changed. Although Sumugu didn't reply, her face loosens just like Iwato's, probably because she recalled the time when she met Iwato. Although it's not a laughing matter during those days, the meeting was exactly the worst. Still, it can be thought as a laughing matter now. Then let's get this moved. I'll help. And just like that, those two diligently making a round trip between the entranceway and the kitchen. The evening on that day, Iwato, who finished eating his dinner slightly early and pickled the tableware in water, went out to buy a bigger refrigerator as planned. The destination is a major company chain store called Tanaka Electric. It's a glass-sided and slightly nice-looking store. Descending down the slope, turn left from the T-junction, and turn right when he sees a convenience store on the right. Then it's a gentle slope. Iwato ignored the huge "please pick me up" cardboard on the way and reached the highway after the slope. Oh, is it like a cardboard box with an animal in it? That happens in Japanese animes and things. All right. And he reached the highway after the slope, and when he looks to the right, there's a Tanaka Electric that's playing the Tanaka Denki melody. The business hours should be until 9. Iwato thought so and reached the entrance of the Tanaka Electric. When he saw the business hours, he realized that there's a lot of time left. I'm thirsty. Let's stop at the first floor. He sets foot in Tanaka Electric while saying that. Basically, the first floor of Tanaka Electric is a rest area and there's vending machine placed around the floor. And from there, the escalator connects to the second floor. At least this is how Tanaka Electric that Iwato went before looks like. Iwato ignores the escalator and heads to the back. He then turns and stops in front of a vending machine. What he's now thinking is about Sumugu, but her personal refrigerator should have a lot of melon soda stored in it. In the first place, Sumugu, who prefers melon soda rather than water, will never leave her melon soda to be out of stock. Never let her. I guess I'll go with coffee. Iwato inserts coins into the vending machine after deciding to buy his share only for the time being, and he bought the high-quality coffee that he saw, as expected of a rich person. And then he sits on the nearby bench and put his body weight onto the bench, and... Suddenly he recalled the huge "please pick me up" cardboard that he saw on the way. If it's a dog, then even a small-sized cardboard is enough, and yet the cardboard that he saw just now has more than enough space to fit one person in it. If he were to compare it, it's a cardboard that's used for an ogre's child. And then when Iwato considered it, he feels uneasy. And ogre? Iwato, who felt an unpleasant premonition, returns to the road he came from. He head left to the gentle slope. Although it may be dark, he can already see the cardboard in the residential area. It's just about the right size to be picked up. But Iwato arrived in front of the cardboard. Although he ignored it not long ago, he will look inside this time. Then he saw a brown-haired girl with a crest on the back of her left hand sleeping there. As expected, it's no human? Iwato mutters while looking at the girl and recalling the information. The second heroine appears. Right, yeah, next time. Okay, he found a girl in a box. I mean, this is like, that's everybody's dream right there, Just a girl in a box. Just waiting for you. Oh, yeah.